Hello friends, welcome back to Creative Exploration with Pers. We are here to do Flux LoRA training tonight. We're going to go through all the steps. We're going to go through all the stuff you need to do. We're going to talk about what you need, how much VRAM, all that stuff, whether you could do it locally, whether you could do it on the cloud, depending on your specifications, depending on your things, blah, 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 blah. We're going to dive into all of it, and we will be doing it with the easiest trainer available right now that isn't like a service. Obviously, you can go train these on Civitai. You can go train these on Replicate. You can train them. There are many services, but the way I'm teaching you to do it today requires a minimum of 12 gigabytes of VRAM if you want to do it locally. You can run it on pretty much any GPU with 12 gigs of VRAM. As long as you're willing to wait, or you could do what I do, and that's just rent a 4090 on a cloud service and spin up FluxGym on there. And that's the method I'll be teaching you today. But if you want to set it up locally, it's just as easy. All you do is go to Pinokio.computer, Pinokio, Pinokio.computer. And they have a one-click installer system that will let you install FluxGym. It's right here, FluxGym. So you literally just click this, install it, and you're off to the races. I use Pinokio. It's safe. It's all good. So if you want to do this locally and you have at least 12 gigs of VRAM, you don't want to spend money on the cloud, and you want to train this stuff at home, do this, install FluxGym with Pinokio. It's dead simple. One click installs it. Make sure you have, I'm going to say 40 to 50 gigs of hard drive space, because the models will take up like 30 or 40 gigs. Flux model itself is like 29 gigs or something silly. Okay, so get that, download that, install that. It's easy. Make sure you go to the right website, Pinokio.computer. Don't install it from anywhere else. Don't get it from anywhere else. Just get Pinokio from Pinokio.computer. Remember, it's spelled weird. Pinokio. All right. I just don't want you guys to, get virused or whatever. So yeah, Pinokio, it's legit. Use it. It's cool. Install FluxGym. You're done step one. If you are like me, you don't want to spend your 3090 GPU cycles on this. You'd rather just spend like 20 cents or so per LoRA. You can spin it up on Vast or RunPod or whatever. So we're going to do that so I can show you how to set it up. But these setup installation instructions are actually pretty similar to how you would set it up in Linux or Windows locally as well if you don't want to use Pinokio. So if you're a manual type person and you don't like any automated tools, then you can kind of follow along with what I'm doing with your local system. And all that stuff's right on fluxgym.com or FluxGym, the FluxGym GitHub, which is on the description below, in the description below. I'm just trying to blast through this fast because it's a lot of information. But the idea is we're going to be gathering data sets. We're going to be training Flux LoRAs and then trying them out in Flux. Let's give some specs here. The last few ones I've trained on about 15 images. So we get a data set of 15 images. This app will auto caption them for you. It's awesome. So get your 15 images, put them in a folder. You upload them to the app. It'll auto caption them. And then you decide how long you want to train it, basically. The default is 10 repeats per image. I did that with a 45 image LoRA, and it took over 2 hours to train on a 4090. So what I've been doing lately is 15 images with about 6 repeats, which hits around 1,400 steps or about 20 minutes on a 4090. The slower your card is, the longer it will take. And I think if you have less VRAM, it might take longer, or you have to use a different training method or something. There's actually a little checkbox thing to check how much VRAM you have in FluxGym, but we'll get into that after we install it. So yeah, we're going to install this on Vast, but you can do this exact same process on any of the cloud services because we're just going straight from a CUDA install. There's a basic CUDA install on every single platform. So I'm just going to use Vast because I already have credits there, but if you want to use RunPod or like literally anything else that lets you just spin up a Jupyter thing, you can use that. Yeah, GPU is getting insanely cheap. So yeah, okay. Get your images, figure out what you want to train on. What I've been training on lately, I did one on my face. I did one VHS box art. I did a candy LoRA. What else? Cave exploration LoRA, neon signage LoRA. So yeah, just concepts that you want to train into Flux and control with weights. And then another thing you can do is like also like train in characters or concepts or like anything you want. Just 15 to 100, I guess, images. The more images you have, the longer it's going to take, though. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, it's not exponential. It just takes longer. Twice as many images will take twice as long to train, etc., etc. Okay, so FluxGym is a dead simple web UI for training Flux LoRAs with 12, 16, or 20 gigabytes of VRAM. The front end is a web UI forked from AI Toolkit. And the back end is the training script by Kohya. So if you get really good at this and you don't want to use these simple tools, AI Toolkit and Kohya are the sort of industry standard tools that everyone uses to train, but they require you actually understanding what you're doing to train so that you can build your scripts yourself. So if you don't know what you're doing, this is great. And I mean, if you really don't know what you're doing, Civitai is even better because you just go spend some buzz and train your LoRA, and it's right there on Civitai saved, and you can play with it, download it, keep it, whatever. But yeah, you're doing this locally to save money, so let's do it. And again, yeah, when you get better at this, you'll probably end up just using AI Toolkit. But the drawback to AI Toolkit is that it requires 24 gigs of VRAM. So this FluxGym thing is able to shave it down to 12 gigs because it uses the Kohya scripts. So like, yeah, if you have low VRAM, this is the move. And yeah. So yeah, it's really cool. It just auto downloads the models and gets going. So I'll show you guys how to install it. Let's go. FluxGym. All right. So if you look down here, there's all these setup instructions. This is what we're going to be following. It's really easy to do. And there's actually a link to Pinokio right here. So yeah, just go to the link below and click straight through to Pinokio if you want to install this locally on Windows. Actually, I think that also works on Linux as well, but I'm not sure. Okay, let's try this. We're going to go to Vast.ai. I'm going to log in. All right, we're going to find a 4090 by going, you sign into Vast.ai or whatever your service is. Add some credits, add some money, because compute ain't free. And then basically pick your GPU. I pick a 4090. It's best value, I think. It's about 40 cents an hour. And these LoRAs take about 20 minutes to train with about 10 minutes of setup. So if you're really pushing value, you can train, 2.5, 3 LoRAs in an hour. So yeah, once you've started training one, then you can start gathering data for the next one, and you could just keep banging them until you're sort of out of energy to do it, and train yourself a bunch of LoRAs all in one session after that initial setup. But yeah, the initial setup takes about 10 minutes, so it's not a huge chunk into your time, and I bet soon enough there will be like a Vast instance, like a template for FluxGym. There just isn't one yet that I know of to load up their Docker image. So we'll just do it the old-fashioned way. So what we're looking for is a GPU. We search for GPUs. We want to, let me zoom in a bit here. We want an NVIDIA RTX card. We want a 4000 series, and we want to just check the 4090, uncheck everything else, because this is the only one I want for this training session. If you want a different GPU, go for it. You can see how the prices, relate to the different GPUs, like the speed and stuff, but 4090 is good value, I think. So what we need is a GPU that's on a decent internet connection, because we need to download a 26, 29, whatever gigabyte model to train Flux. So let's find one. We want something with at least a gigabit. And I know. I'm sort of looking for an Epic, AMD Epic board because they're good boards. But I'm also looking for this one might work. Okay, here we have a server. It's an AMD Epic, nice server, 4090. It's got plenty of VRAM, 24 gigs, plenty of system RAM, 64 gigs. And it's got 6.2 gigabit down and 7.1 gigabit up. So yeah, I think we're going to use that one. And it's 41 cents an hour. So yeah, this is charged you by the minute. So as soon as you terminate the process, you're no longer charged. You don't have to worry about rolling up to the next hour or like, you know, making sure you spend your credits effectively. Like it's really great. You spin it up, spin it down. You're only charged for the time it's up. So it's pretty legit. So let's rent this instance. Oh, the other thing you need to do is go to the templates. I already did this, but you just want to select the dead simple PyTorch CUDNN runtime, the default sort of recommended template. Just select that. That's just going to give you a simple Jupyter interface. You're off to the races once it's loaded up here. Here we go. So it's installing the image now to spin up my machine that I'm going to be doing the training on. I'm kind of doing this backwards because I haven't actually built the data set yet. So I'm going to burn a little time on the instance while we build a data set. Don't do that. That's bad. That's bad. It's a waste of money. Spin this up after you have a data set or two created so that you're not just sitting with an empty machine not training like I am. So this happens sometimes, this connecting thing. If it doesn't connect within, 2 minutes or whatever, just kill the instance because this has happened to me a few times in the last couple of days. I'm going to let it go until about 2 minutes, but sometimes they just hang on this connecting thing. I don't know what it's about. Also, if you guys have any ideas for what LoRA you want to see, you want to train tonight, drop them in the chat and I'll pick the one I like the best. And we'll build a data set and train a LoRA live on stream. If this thing connects. It's not looking good. Not looking good, friends. So I'm actually this happened to me a few times today. I think on the same machine. So I'm going to report this machine. Hangs on connecting. Just let people know why you killed the instance if you killed it so they can try and fix it, right? So yeah, I just hit the little trash button and deleted the instance. We're going to go back to templates, make sure we have our CUDDN runtime. Whoops, I clicked on it. We just want to click select, that's all. And it's going to reload our thing. You can also go price increasing here so that you can see the price, see them in order of price. But what we're really looking for is something with good internet, but maybe we'll spend a little more. Let's try this one. It's a similar machine, but it's not the same machine, I don't think. This is literally the only problem I've had today, so it might just be some update they pushed to their Docker services or something. I don't know, but this is not normal. Yes, FluxGym can lose connection to the UI. I'll talk about that. It's incredibly annoying. I don't know what that's about. Open. Okay, so that's how long it should take, about 30 seconds. That last one was broken. So click open, and it's going to say, your connection is not private, and that's because we are using HTTP, not HTTPS. It just spun this server up, so obviously it doesn't have an SSL certificate. You can buy one, it's $100, or you can just proceed, which is fine. Let's just proceed. Okay. And this site will be hotter than the sun, so let's zoom in a bit and go to settings, theme, and change it to Jupyter Dark so I don't go blind. All right, we're back. So next thing is settings, view. And we want to open Jupyter Lab. So this is just a file browser and a thing that tells us what's running. So this is our control dashboard for the system we just set up. But we're going to load up the actual dashboard, which is Jupyter Lab. So that's back here, view, open Jupyter Lab. This is going to open up a new window, and this is our whole, our legit Jupyter dashboard. This is the computer we've rented. This is the computer that's running. So we click on terminal and we get a terminal like you would any Linux machine. So now we're here in our machine and we have access to it. So what I'm going to do is pull this over to the left, pull this one over to the right. I'm going to zoom in a bit on this and we're going to start following these instructions, okay? Okay, so ls and cd. If you are brand new to Linux, ls means list the contents of the directory. Cd means change directory. List, change directory. Ls, cd. List, ls, cd, change directory. You might know them in DOS, cd, change directory, dir to see the directory. I think dir exists in Linux. But in Linux, it's ls. All right, so let me zoom this in a bit so you guys can see even better. Okay. Now, this is dork stuff, but here we are. So we just need to do one thing at a time here. Install manually. You grab this first line, paste it in. Oh, sorry. First things first. We want to work out of the workspace folder, not the root of our project. So we're going to cd. That's why I said cd. We're going to cd to workspace. And then ls, we're inside workspace. This is our workspace. This is where we work from. This is kind of like our home directory that we're working from for FluxGym. So we're going to paste that first command. We're going to git clone FluxGym into this folder and hit enter. It's going to download everything it needs for FluxGym. We're going to go cd space FluxGym. If you look on the left here, it says cd FluxGym. So now we're in the FluxGym folder. We ls, we can see the contents of it. We need to do this next command here, git clone the Kohya scripts, SD scripts, into this folder. That's why we changed into it. When you run this remotely on Vast, how do you come back a day or two later and avoid having to re-download the model? You don't! That's why we get fast machines. Okay, we have downloaded our stuff. So if we look in here, we have our FluxGym folder, and inside that folder, there's an SD scripts folder. That's our actual folder structure. If you look at the left here, that's what they told us we need. Okay, all right. So we're on Linux, but if you're on Windows, you would do this command. Again, you don't have to do this if you use Pinokio. This is only if you want to be a rebel. Okay, we're going to go back one folder into our FluxGym folder. And we're going to create a Python virtual environment to work from. This is going to allow us to pip stuff in and not affect our main environment. This is how we interact with these apps in general. This is all the stuff that Pinokio does for you. We're going to handle it ourselves, all right? So we're going to type Python-m virtual environment, okay? That's going to create an environment folder that creates our virtual environment for Python. You don't really have to know this stuff. You just have to follow the commands. But I'm explaining it so it kind of makes sense, because otherwise I hate blindly following instructions sometimes. I'd like to know why. Okay, so on Linux, the command to activate your virtual environment is source, and then inside you go environment bin environment /bin/activate. And that's going to activate the environment that we just created. And you can tell it's active because it says bracket env in front of the commands that you're running now. See how it says env in front of it? That means we're in that virtual environment. So when we run pip and stuff like that, we're using our new virtual environment. So now it says we need to cd into the SD scripts folder and pip install -r requirements.txt. This command will become very comfortable for you. This is something that you will have to run all the time with Comfy. You'll get used to this. Pip installing the requirements is how you handle installing the stuff that the app needs to run. Comfy does handle this for you when you use the manager most of the time, but it's good to understand what Comfy's doing in the background. So what it's doing now is it's installing all the things that it needs to run FluxGym, or in this case, all the stuff it needs to run Kohya, the Kohya scripts. And then when this is done, we're going to go down a folder. See how it says cd ... and then pip install requirements. So we start with the stuff in SD scripts. We go up a folder into the FluxGym folder. We install those requirements. And then we install PyTorch nightly, edit one file, and we're done. Misha, I keep being refused using pip install. I alternatively use python-m pip install. Yes, so that's a difference between you being in your environment and not having pip in your environment path. So there might be some funny business going on there, but basically there's a lot of variables. It depends how your environment's set up. Depends on a lot of stuff. So there's no one-size-fits-all answer for this stuff. So when I'm talking about these commands, I'm specifically talking about Linux right now. Some of these commands do not work on Windows. You have to use different virtual environment commands. Sometimes you have to use Python 3. There's a million things. So that's why I'm just doing a Vast install today. Like the local stuff is for when you want to be a hacker. Dive in, Google the error messages, that kind of stuff. Okay. So now I need to cd ... cd space ... is down a folder. Up folder is go into the folder. Down a folder is ... So dot is the same folder. ... is the folder below. Just like how /thing is the way you talk about a relative path to the thing inside your folder, and .. / would be something in the folder below you. Dorks. All right. Let's do the pip install -r requirements.txt in here as well. Because that's our next thing we have to do. And that's going to grab them. And if you're installing locally, just use Pinokio. Don't bother with any of this other stuff. Just use Pinokio. This is installing this stuff locally on Windows is just for the hard-headed. Yeah, what Crazy Node Corner said, basically. Yeah, it's not impossible to run this stuff locally, learn how to run your environments and stuff, but it is definitely an investment. If you want to get into that stuff, it's definitely something that's really worth learning, is like understanding how to navigate Python environments, find them, remove them, rename them, install dependencies, fight dependency whack-a-mole problems. That stuff's all important DevOps stuff that, if you're into this stuff, is good. It's worth learning. All right, workspace, FluxGym, we are good to go. Everything's installed. So the last thing I need to do is not actually in the settings here. This is something I had to do for Vast. Go into workspace, go into the FluxGym folder, and you're looking for the app.py file. You want to double click that so you can edit it. And you want to scroll all the way to the bottom, and you're looking for this line called demo launch. And then there's a bunch of launch commands here. We need to add one thing to this line. We need to add share equals true with a capital T and a comma. And what that's going to do is give us a Gradio public link that we can use to connect to the server once it's up. Otherwise, it's stuck behind the firewall of this Jupyter notebook, and I haven't figured out how to expose the port with Jupyter yet. So this works just as well. You and then Control S or file save Python file. Just make sure you add share equals capital T true, comma, in that line there. So debug, show error, share, allowed paths. This will generate the link when you start it up. All right, so we're all good to go. This is gonna run. We type Python app.py, and that's the final command in in here. See this Python app.py. Okay, and that is maybe gonna do something. And I'm just going to pull this off because it's going to pull my, yeah, it's working. And it's given me my public URL, which I need to just sort of click through here, pull up on here. There we go. And there we go. Just because I'm streaming, I'm trying to avoid exposing the URL. Just so nobody messes around with our stream while we're working. But this is it. This is it. We're in. This is FluxGym. The link that it gave me when it started up, I just control clicked on it to go to this thing. It's just like a big long link, .gradio.com or whatever. Click on it and it just sends a portal to this Jupyter box using the Gradio share link system. But you know, you guys can access the link too. That's why I had to just sort of hide it for now. But you know, once I turn it off, it's off, so no worries. Just trying to avoid getting stream jacked here or whatever. So the name of your LoRA. Okay, so let's run through all the stuff. Yeah, all the links are in the thing down below. Okay. Let me just make it nice and big so we can see it. Okay, these settings are damn simple. You name your LoRA. Just name the LoRa. Your trigger word is a weird word. You see how it says to use like person with like a 3 and a 0? You want to use a trigger word that doesn't kind of exist in the English language, because then it'll get confused. If it exists, it'll get confused with other words that exist. So when you try to call it, it won't know which one you're talking about, right? So, if you're like, for mine, the VHS box one, I put, VH5_B0X or something like that. And the idea being that, or maybe I put VHS_box or something that's like, it's just a little outside the normal human language. But yeah, you would want to either use nonsense or like replace some numbers with letters or whatever, so you can remember what your trigger word is. But yeah, save your trigger word, use a trigger word that'll help you activate the LoRa when it comes time to infer. You want to use the Flux dev model. You select how much VRAM you have. Here's where you select how many times you want to repeat the images. I just left that at 6. 16 epochs is fine. And when you have your images in, it's going to tell you how many steps you have. So you kind of want to keep it around 1,500 to 2,000 steps for like a 20 to 30 minute train on 15 images. Okay, so the amount of images, the amount of repeat trains affects the expected training steps. So if you got a bunch of images, it's going to take longer to train at 6 steps than it would take to train, less images at 6 steps. So if you like the way 6 steps looks, and I do, 4 to 6, 10 is great, but it takes forever. 4 to 6 steps is awesome. That, with about 15 images is about 20 minutes. So that's a good place to start when you're doing your Flux training to begin with. So let's keep that all set. And then, yeah, basically we just upload our data set, which I have not prepared yet. So we're going to burn some time on this while we prepare a data set. No, nobody told me. All right, fine. We're going to train a data set on what I want to train on then. Okay, let's do Unsplash.com. So I've just been going to Unsplash because it's all CC0. You don't have to feel like you're stealing somebody else's work. We're just training LoRAs here. It's all good. We're going to infer new stuff out of them. But yeah, let's try and think of what a cool LoRA would be. Maybe I just did a neon sign one. Cameras are cool. Messy desks. Women working on computers. SD cards. Actually, these might be kind of cool. I don't know if there's enough images of them. Could do a fur one. Could do a texture one. Yeah, we just got to pick something we want to train. These are cool. Maybe we can find some stuff like this. Some dried flowers. Yeah, let's do a dried flowers, LoRA. That might be cool. Let's see if we can find about 15 images of dried flowers that look good. And if we can, then we got ourselves a cool little LoRA. I kind of liked that, you know, when they were all spread out. These are all a little crafty. Now let's try it. Let's get this. You look good. Basically don't want anything Unsplash Pro because we have to pay for it. That looks good. That looks good. That one's neat. That one's cool. Some of these are paid, so we'll just skip past them, but just looking for cool dried flowers, man. Yeah, no, I'm gonna leave the hurricane stuff alone. There's people actually in trouble right now. That's an upgrade. All the good ones are upgrades. I don't know, we got this out of the grabbable. So let's get this one. This one. Oh, got to upgrade to download that. It's a cool one. Yeah. Nice. All right. Oh, that one's got. Yeah, there we go. Basically, I'm just going to put these all in a folder and we're going to train them. And off to the right. Let's go down, get some more. Is that an upgrade? Yeah. I mean, ideally, you've already got data sets. You know, this part you don't have to do while you have your system up or anything. But it's also important to show how this is done. So let's just keep moving. I'm just trying to find cool pictures of dried flowers that look like they'll, you know, inform the LoRA to do something outside the box of what it normally does. So just sort of somewhat unique stuff, if we can. And we want about 10 to 15 images, so check and see how many we got after I download these weird images. That one looks like crap. This is just my monitor. All right, download that. Let's see how many we got. We got 14. 14 is good. 14 is good. Oh yes, hundreds of LoRAs. I just never shared them. All right, so we are good to go. So we have our images. I just made a folder of flower images, and we're going to make a dried flowers LoRA out of them. So you grab your images and drag them into the upload your images area. And this is where things might crap out. It does happen from time to time. Uploading 14 files. This part can take forever and it can crash. So we'll just see how it goes. All right. Cool. Images loaded. They look dope. So click Add AI Captions with Florence 2. And it's just going to go through and rip captions for all these. It's downloading the model. Yeah, there we go. So it's going to give you better captions for all your images, so you don't have to do that. It's awesome. Yeah, generally that's the best practice. Naming your LoRA the same as your trigger word so that you can you don't have to think about it. All right, captions are captioned. So it's expecting about 1344 steps. That's because we've got 14 images. So I'm actually going to repeat about 7. That's going to push us to about 1568. I wanted around 1500 steps for this. Like I said, you just play with this until you're around the amount of steps you're willing to sort of invest in this. So you just change this number, it'll do the math, and then it'll tell you how many steps it thinks it's going to be. So we're going to go with 7 steps. That'll be 1500-ish. That's fine. 20 gigs of RAM, 8 per. So we need to name it. We're going to call it dried flowers. And I'm going to make the trigger word dr13d underscore fl0w3r5. So we're just kind of replacing some of the letters. Like that word doesn't exactly, thing exist. So when I save this file name, I'll probably just save it as this, like pers dried flowers.safe tensors, so that I just know that's my activation word. But it can also be saved in the LoRA sometimes. I'll show you that once we get back to inference. So the only other thing you can do if you want, I don't know why that changed, but let's go back to 7. Okay. The other thing you can do is you can sample the image every so many steps. So you can say, like, I want it to generate an image every X steps so I can see how my LoRA is doing. I'm not going to bother because we're just on stream and we're just going to like rip the LoRA as fast as we can. But this is a great way to add more steps than just watch it. And then when it starts spitting out basically the same images or it's getting overfit, you can just stop the training and grab whatever you got, because every 4 epochs is going to drop you a file you can test. So yeah. You can also test that locally on your own machine while you rip and then, thing. So that's it. Yeah, let me just make this a little smaller so you can see sort of what it'll look like on your screen. But basically, the idea is LoRA info on the left, dataset in the middle, training stuff on the right. So this is the training script you would have to write if you weren't doing this easy way, basically. So, but that's it. All these settings are ready to go. We just hit start training, and then it'll automatically add the trigger to the captions. Yeah. And then it's going to say blah, 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 blah. It's doing stuff. And what it's actually doing is, if I go over to Jupyter Lab, maybe that's not that one. Where are you? Sorry, give me a sec. My brain just shut down. Got too many windows open here. There it is. Okay, so yeah, we can see our thing is downloading all the stuff it needs right now to do the training. So it downloaded Flux in 26 seconds, 24 gigs in 26 seconds. That's why we get the fast server. Yeah. So you'll notice this doesn't say anything when it's running. It's all in this window. And this has a little auto scroll button that's going to just keep your thing scrolled down to the bottom so you can watch it go here. So it's going to do this and you're going to think it's not doing anything. You need to wait about 8 minutes for it to do its first epoch before it tells you how long it's going to take. So yeah, so it's going to do 16 epochs, about 1500 steps. And we're just going to let it rip. Yes, with FluxGym, there is an entire advanced thing we're not going to touch today. But if you want to dig in, it's right here. You just click advanced options and you have access to literally every argument you would want with Kohya. So if you want to go deep, you still can with this. You just, you know, you got to want it. Basically, none of these show up unless you add values. So yeah, just add the things you want to add. If you have something specific you want to do with the training, it's all there. It's just hidden behind this little advanced options drop down above the log here. We're going to go down to the bottom. We're going to click that auto scroll back on. So if you need to scroll up, click that off, or otherwise it'll just keep pulling you back down to the bottom. Can I use my local Flux dev model without duplicating the one from Comfy? Yeah, probably. But I don't know how. You'd probably have to just symlink it. So yeah, just look up how to symlink a file. You might have to download it the first time, then just delete it and symlink the model folder or whatever so that it knows where to look. But yeah, absolutely. I'm sure you can use the same model file for both. We have the technology. So there you go. It tells you right here. Let me zoom in a little bit. Ooh. Zoom out a bit. So it tells you at epoch 1 on the junction from epoch 1 to epoch 2, which is epoch is how a training session, measurement of time. It was 1 minute and 36 seconds to do the first block, and it's going to be 24 minutes and 8 seconds to finish this LoRA. So it tells you how long it takes and how long it's going to take. That number might change a bit as time goes on, but that's basically right here that's how you get a gauge for how long your training is going to take. All right, so while this is training, let's go play with some other LoRAs that we've been making. If I can find them. I have too many windows. So epoch 3, yeah, about 22 minutes. That's pretty good. So if you had so now, like as you're training this one, would be a great time to start building your second data set for the next model, right? And then you got 20 minutes basically to keep smashing data sets together. And, I mean, either do it all beforehand or just do it as you roll. But yeah. Skadoosh. All right, let's load up Comfy. Like I said, Gradio. Try and close all these other windows here. Okay, let's try the, so I made a candy LoRA, and the trigger word is C4NDY. It's available on Civitai. If you go to Civit, you go to my profile. The VHS box, candy, and cave exploration LoRAs are up. You can go play with them. You can even create with them right on Civit if you have Buzz. Yeah. So let's play with the candy one. You can just download it and put it in your LoRA folder. It says here how to use it. Candy, a pile of colorful candy sitting on top of each other on a white surface. The candies come in a variety of colors. So let's grab this prompt and go over here and paste that in here. It's always a good place to start is by grabbing one of the prompts from the person's LoRA page. Then you can start changing stuff. And I'll keep that, let's keep this up on the left here. Back over here, comfy. Nice. A pile of colorful candies sitting on top of each other on a white surface. And candies come in a variety of colors. They certainly do. So the best part about LoRA is that you can mix them together, right? Like beyond just mixing a LoRa with the original data set, once you have a few LoRas, once you start mixing your LoRas, you're basically way outside the data set into your own land. So you train on your own work, you train on your own images, you train on like CC0 stuff, you start pushing away from the copyrighted material that everybody hates, you know. It's kind of nice. So yeah, let's try so if we mix this with my PERS LoRa, PERS face candy, and we call it what, like a man wearing candy glasses. I was able to use my LoRa at 70%, the candy one at 100%, and like almost get it to make my glasses out of candy. So maybe we can do that. But yeah, that's what I mean about mixing the LoRas. Like you take the candy LoRa and somebody else's LoRa or something else, you just mix those styles together. It's so cool. Fantastic. So we're actually 5 epochs into our training, which means I can actually grab. If you go to the if you go to your outputs folder in your Jupyter Lab, you're gonna notice. Oh, that's because this is not yet. We want. Sorry, I got too many windows open here. We want this. If you go into your outputs folder, it's actually giving you every 4 epochs. It's giving you a one you can try. So you can download these incremental save tensors files and try them out to see, you know, when you've overtrained. So yeah, if you want to start checking them out while they're training, you absolutely can. It's usually good to wait till like the 8th epoch or whatever. But sometimes stuff converges fast. Those are cool. They're like jelly covered. VHS box LoRa. And another cool thing you can do is let's mute my LoRa. If you right click on the LoRa loader and you hit view LoRa info, it actually tells you what it was trained on and what the you know, all the captions that were trained into it. So just grab one, copy it, close, and then paste. And then we can add VHS box because that's the trigger word at the beginning. Title of the film is written in bold white letters across the top of the cover, and we'll call it Purrs. A scary movie called Purrs. Ooh. Hey Tyler, I sure have, buddy. I love modular synthesis. Can you tell? Yeah. Yeah, go get the LoRas. Have fun with them. They're fun. This VHS box LoRa is the coolest thing I've made in ages. Yeah, the LoRA info thing is just for someone who can't remember trigger words. Whew, it's handy. So handy. Oh, it's mad. So, oh, it doesn't matter. That was an old instance. So I'm a little confusing. I'm confusing myself here because I have an old session from before still open. So we're fine. Everything's fine. All right. Epochs at 7. That's good. And you're good. So I'm actually going to merge these two windows because they're sort of connected, sort of completely connected. Where are you guys? You and you. What? And you. Okay. Epoching. Downloading. So yeah, if you go in here, go back in, it's still 4, but once 8 finishes, you'll see it's going to add a 0000008 dot save sensors. That's this next epoch. Yep, auto trigger words works too. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, eh? Oh yeah. Does it work for multiple LoRAs? Does what work for multiple LoRAs at once? Okay. Epoch 8. And how's our generation coming? Oh, beautiful. New pulses of inobs of working, puz same TI to Mertz. I'd watch it. I would watch it. It didn't give me the film in bold white letters across the top, but that's okay. Is there a workflow I can load? For what? See, there's point 8. What's next? So we should be halfway done training. Yeah, 12 minutes left. So yeah, this is it. This is Flux LoRA training. It's it's easier on the services, but it costs more. So if you want to learn how to do this locally, you want to learn how to do it here, this is it. This is how you do it on the cheap, 40 cents an hour. That actually is going to go up. I think compute's not getting any cheaper. Maybe when the 5090 comes out, maybe we'll be able to rent 4090s cheaper, but don't it. Everything's just going to go up, up, up. Curious about the input data set you use for VHS LoRa. Oh, they're literally just VHS boxes, like those flat out VHS boxes, so you can get the layout of them. And it just naturally understood to do that based on the width of the image. So if it's a wide image, it gives you the whole box. If it's like a portrait image, it just gives you the front cover. It's awesome. Okay, what are we at? Nice. Epoch 10. Well, that's the VHS LoRa. What else we trained? We trained the cave one, the cave exploration LoRa. That's pretty cool. And again, right click, view LoRa info. You get all the information here. So let's try a tree growing out of a hole in the middle of a cave. Cave. So cave. Hey, Pixel Pusher, I bet you do. Oh, the Comfy workflow is just your basic Flux workflow. You can get that anywhere, Christopher. It's literally just yeah. Actually, if you look at the last stream, we basically rebuilt this entire workflow. The only thing I added was the LoRa loaders. It just works the way it works with any Flux workflow. You can just grab the default one from ComfyUI.org or whatever. Yeah, this cave exploration LoRa came out way better than I thought it would. Cave, deep inside a scary, foggy cave with spikes on the ceiling. Ooh. Eight minutes, epoch 12. Very cool. Try out the neon sign one. Can't remember my trigger word. I think it was this. This is why you should write them down. Wicked. ComfyUI. Damn close. Comfy WI. ComfyUI. 13th epoch, 6 minutes. Oh, I just realized my file size is ginormous. That's why these generations are taking so long. It looks cool. It's not right, but it looks cool. Yeah, let's try 1344 by 768. That should be a lot more chill. Very mindful, very demure. Yeah, that's true. If you hit, what is it, Windows V instead of Control V, you get the enhanced paste buffer thing in Windows. So you could save stuff, pin stuff to your paste buffer. So if you're using LoRa's, certain LoRa's a lot, you could pin them trigger words there. Yeah, that's the neon signage one. I'm gonna post that one tonight after the stream. But yeah, the rest of them are on Civit. And there's also a PERS LoRa out there. Someone trained it. Rediff. Just saying. If you wanted to make your special PERS images, go nuts. $14. 4 minutes, 5 minutes. Let's go. You know, I also didn't check if some of these exist before I made them, so I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes. Some areas you Flux LoRa that's, you know, does neon signage or whatever. There can be more than one. I'm not trying to steal your sunshine or anything. I literally didn't Google it first or anything. Might be a good idea though. If you guys are gonna make LoRa's, double check that the one you're making doesn't already exist and isn't already awesome. Because you know, just waste time to make the exact same LoRa's. So if somebody already made it and it works really good, then you don't need to make it. But if you think you can do it better, or you know, it uses different thingies, different input images for a different vibe, go nuts, man. Go nuts. All right, 3 minutes. I'm gonna guess if we were to check the 12th epoch, it would be absolutely fully converged and be a great LoRa. I'm just gonna let it cook because we're here and it's already running and it's just easier. But yeah, just make sure before you destroy your instance on Vast. So like when you're done, you go back to your Vast window. Excuse me, I'm sorry for yawning. Go to your Vast window, and then just go to your instances here, and you can kill your instance, but do not do it until you've downloaded the LoRa, because then it's gone. It's gone forever. Okay. 16th epoch, a minute and a half left. What's the recommended size for image reference to train? I just saw, just put them all in. Yeah, just put them all in. Every sizes, like FluxGym has a setting. And from what I was told, 512 is fine for Flux LoRa's. If you want, set it to 1024 and wait. I think it'll take twice as long, maybe 4 times as long. I'm not sure how that works, but do you want like really specific detail? I guess do 1024. I don't know enough about it yet to have opinions on, you know, what the rate settings are. So I'll just leave that to you guys. A lot of you have more experience with training Flux LoRa's than I do, but you know, I'm just here to teach you how to set it up, start yourself. It's almost done. And I suppose if you wanted to get real nerdy, you could just download these training scripts and start editing them and just build your own little thing and run it and blah, blah, blah. There we go. We're done. So I go into here, I look in the folder, it's saving the file, I believe. And if I go out and back in, there should be a driedflowers.savetensors. So let's download that. Right click, download driedflowers.savetensors. If you want, you can download these as well, and you can test them out to see which convergence point you like the best with your LoRAs, but I'm a lazy bastard, so I'm not going to. I'm just going to download the finished one, and I'm going to go back over to Vast, and I am going to kill that instance. 52 minutes, 40 cents. Could have gone faster if I wasn't explaining how to set it all up, but that's it. We got it done in under an hour. So yeah, 40 cents to train a LoRA, not too bad. 42 cents, whatever that was. Skaboosh, yeah, 42 cents. 42 cents. But that was running. So now every time you pop another LoRA after that, if it takes 20 minutes, you could do 3 LoRAs an hour for 40 cents once it's set up. So that setup took a lot longer than it normally will for you. Once you get everything fine-tuned, all set up, once you get your setup routine like good to go, like I can set it up really fast when I'm not talking. You will be able to as well. So yeah, I'll go to my downloads folder, grab that LoRA I just grabbed, dried flowers, put that in my models folder in LoRa's Flux private, and we'll put that in pers dried flowers. So one thing I forgot to do was look up here and double check at what my freaking trigger word is. So it's DR1E3D. I'm going to copy this, and I'm actually going to make the LoRA. I'm going to call it that. So it's, I know you can't see that, but it's pers dash and then that trigger word. Because that way it's saved in the LoRA. I could just see it when I load it, and I know what to do. So this is all done. This is all closed. We can close this now. We don't need it. It's gone. Get rid of it all. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Vast. No instances. All right. So, let's find it. Hit that little refresh button after you've updated, and it'll be in your little box here somewhere. Pers dried flowers. All right. So if I right-click on it, view LoRA info, it's going to give me all the sort of things that we had. So let's grab one of these prompts, and we'll try adding the prompt, and then we'll add at the beginning dr13d underscore fl0w3r5 comma. So we're using our phrase here to kick off the trigger word for the LoRA, and then we're going to use a caption from the LoRA to get maximum result from the LoRA to see what it makes. So there is a way to do that. I don't know if you can do the character style concept thing in FluxGym right out of the box, but it might be in the advanced settings somewhere. I don't know. I haven't tried. Ooh, it's like flower sushi. What is it making? I love it. Ooh, let's try dried flower sushi. Sushi made from dried flowers. Do you think that'll work? Yeah, 16 epochs, 1500 steps-ish. But it is absolutely nailing the dried flowers aesthetic. Look at that. Upscaling and stuff, make it a lot cleaner. But that's what we trained. We trained a dried flowers LoRA. And now you can play with that to try to mix it with other stuff. This might not look like dried flower sushi. It might just look like sushi. Might look not like anything. Might look messed up. But you can start playing with the values, the strengths, the weights, the guidance. All these settings, they matter. Mixing the LoRAs, the settings matter. If you mix the you mix LoRAs together. You want one to have slightly less weight than the other one usually. Things like that, There's little dried flowers on the sushi, and the tempura is dried flowers. It did the thing, my friends. We trained a Flux LoRA that does Flux LoRAing right here live on stream, and you can too. Look at those disgusting dried flower sushis. Awesome. All right, so that's it, guys. That's Flux training. Like, there's a lot more to it, obviously, but that will get you going. Anything you want to make, go ahead and make it. Anything that doesn't exist and you want it to exist, make it exist, and then merge it into other stuff to make that stuff exist. Guidance. This guidance here, the lower you go, the more your LoRA tends to take over. The higher you go, the less your LoRA tends to take over, in my experience, but that can be different depending on what you're doing with the LoRA. And yeah, mix the LoRAs, add the 2 trigger words, and then mix the 2 captions together to get what you want. So like, let's try adding my stupid face LoRA, Per's face, and we say a man's face, a man wearing dried flower glasses. And yeah, so we're pushing my face in at 70%, the dried flowers in at 100%. We're adding both trigger words to the phrase, and the a man wearing glasses is sort of the caption phrase to get my face out of the LoRA. So we've combined that with the words dried flower. And, hopefully it won't just give me creepy alien dried flower eyes. It should give me some glasses that have dried flowers in them or on them. If not, we might have to reduce me, increase the dried flowers, play with the thing. It looks like it's just putting them right in my eyes. So yeah, I mean, this is the tweaking, this is the playing, this is the mixing part of the inference side of things. But we do have this cool dried flowers thing that does do dried flowers. You just got to decide what that means for you. It's like maybe we do a man with a beard made out of dried flowers. Yeah, this is triggering my allergies. Ew. Flower beard. I don't know about training resuming. I doubt it's easy to do with FluxGym. Honestly, I doubt that it's easy. I feel like all those advanced features, you're better off doing AI Toolkit, Kohya, learning how to actually train. This is literally day 1 training stuff. So don't. Yeah, I wouldn't expect, the world out of it. Accidentally just disconnected something from somewhere by middle clicking. That's what I missed. There we go. Well, there we go. I got little dried flowers in my beard. Disgusting. All right, that's it, guys. That's Flux training. FluxGym, go install it. If you want to run locally, run it locally. If you want to run it on the cloud, run it on the cloud with Vast like I did. Terminate your process when you're done. Download your files. Make sure you add that share equals true if you want to use it on the cloud. Otherwise, you'll be stuck behind the firewall. That is basically it. Go download the LoRAs. Go make some LoRAs. Go upload some LoRAs and play. Thanks, everybody. And yeah, I'll be back soon. We'll do something else. Yeah, send me the stuff you make with your LoRAs and tag me. I want to see it. Hit the Patreon, hit the website, hit the Discord, hit the blah, blah, hit the YouTube, like, subscribe, smash the I love you button. I don't know, man. Have a great night, everybody. Enjoy Flux training. And I am out of here. Bye-bye.